What up, hustlers?
I also worked at some pretty big marketing firms like Connectivity,
Cool.
Uconnect, Allied Integrated Marketing, and they had a marketing, digital marketing and social media for some top Fortune 500 companies. So that includes companies like Pixar, that includes Honda, Mercedes,
Yeah, so it's
Cricket
like name
Wireless, all
drop.
these really big Fortune 500 companies. Yeah, so I learned digital marketing there, and then on top of that, I was learning Facebook ads at the time, and so I learned at a very fast rate. And so what I did is I did tons of free work to begin with because nobody wanted to hire me from the get-go, so I had to do tons of free work.
Yeah.
So I really reached out to local organizations, nonprofits, anywhere that I could prove my work and get results. And I also went to local businesses. I reached out to influencers, and I did as much free work as possible so I could rack up all of my testimonials, all of my results. And then
Yeah.
eventually I started my own online advertising business where I took on 13 clients, and that was all like mostly influencers. I had two businesses on there,
Cool.
and like I just learned a ton. And so now what I'm really working on is really getting people to enroll in this new training program that I developed. I'm not going to go too much into that, but it's just that's just a little background of everything that I'm
Sorry,
doing.
man.
So
At,
yeah.
at the very end, we always do shameless plugs, so you could, yeah, go for gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay.
So, how did you first get into? So your brothers got into, fashion blogging. So, how did your brother get into that? Because that's a really interesting story in itself.
Oh yeah, so an even crazier story. So actually, I don't know if you've ever heard of Johns Hopkins, but it's one of the top med schools in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
We've
he
all seen
got into
House.
Johns Hopkins. Yeah, exactly. So he got into Johns Hopkins on a medical track, and he was on the neurosurgery program.
Okay.
But during his time there, he realized that the medicine isn't really what he wanted to do. He realized very quickly that he didn't like it at all. He didn't see himself doing this for his whole life. And so he was around a lot of business people. He had some business friends already, and he was really into fashion. He tried his best to dress well every day, and they gave him the idea that, hey, you can actually make money off of this.
Yeah,
So
cool.
he started building on Instagram and learning from other social media experts, how he could build his Instagram. And very quickly he grew his Instagram. He started getting sponsors. He started making affiliate sales. He started making real money. He made a full-time income off of Instagram. And so I was able to learn off of him. And
Yeah.
so I mean, and so he completely dropped the idea of going to med school at all. And so yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that happens. Like, I'm a uni dropout. I mean, you guys call it college, but over here it's university in Australia. And yeah, initially my plan was to study health science and then use that to bridge into,
Okay.
med. And I started health science and I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed the lifestyle more than the actual study. Like, when it comes to structured learning, I don't do very well. Whereas when it comes to, I'll go to one of those secondhand bookstores and I'll buy like a textbook and I'll just read that like a book, but it's in a completely arbitrary field that has nothing to do with anything I'm doing. It's just it just looked interesting.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, meds, it can be such a fantastic field, but if it's not for you, then really it's something you want to make sure you've gone down the right path for sure. So yeah, that's
Absolutely.
awesome. So when he first started, so was he blogging as well, or was it more just straight into Instagram? Like, did he start a website, or was it on someone else's and he was guest blogging, or how did that work?
So he originally did have a blog. He had a website and everything going on. In fact, I believe it's still up. You could probably still check it out. I haven't
Yeah, cool,
seen it
man.
in a while,
Yeah,
but
yeah. We'll drop the link
um,
later and we'll find out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, but he actually got a lot more traction through his Instagram. His Instagram was ultimately what brought him his money. It
Okay.
wasn't the blog. And to be very honest, I believe blogging is dying unless you're video heavy. And
Yeah,
so he eventually stopped
I
using
agree.
his blog because Instagram was ultimately what helped him. And so what I help other influencers do is focus on their social media rather than all the other extra stuff. The secret here is simplicity.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. So
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 that and
yeah,
time
it's
and
really focusing on
patience.
social media.
Yeah, but no, I agree with
Um,
you totally. Like with blogs, I mean, if you had a blog 10 years ago, it was, if you got people to your website, it was almost guaranteed money because it was just,
yeah,
it was still developing. Whereas now it's everybody has a blog, and it's still great because I mean, people do still read them. So it's still very, very possible to monetize from it. But those now that have blogs, they also sell courses on their website, and they also sell services like consulting and things like that. So it's no longer just having a
right.
blog and, you know, having your little advertising banner on the side there so people can buy from Amazon and you get like, you know, point whatever a percent is of the earnings. It's just not feasible anymore, just for the time
Yeah.
comparison, the ROI. So yeah, if you can monetize from Instagram, that's awesome. So when was that more so fashion based as well? So he all like brought that in together.
I'm sorry.
So with his Instagram, so is that was that all fashion based as well? Did he all bring that in together?
Yeah, yeah. So his Instagram was just purely fashion. Yeah,
Yeah, awesome. Okay,
absolutely.
and so what? He started selling through there. Is that how that worked?
Exactly. Yeah. So he worked with a lot of fashion publications. So and he also worked with clothing lines. You know, clothing lines. You could go to your typical mall and find those brands.
Yeah.
And so for example, watch companies that he might partner up with. Um, they would give him an affiliate link, and he would just drop it and
Yep.
drop it for his audience, and then they would all suddenly buy the watches. And he
Awesome.
would get commissions off of that. And so that's what I mean by sales. Like it was very easy for him.
Yeah, awesome. So it was really heavy affiliate marketing, but he was using that through Instagram as his channel for the affiliate marketing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean also sponsors too. So if you get to a certain level with certain sponsors, they'll pay you for the posts, like per post, and they'll
Yeah.
also send you free products. And so there's
Yeah. Cool.
all sorts of different income you can get from this.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So yeah, anyone, if you're looking to monetize your Instagram after this, have a chat with Jason. He'll be awesome to have a chat to. He's got his own group as well, which basically is what, 850 now, something like that.
I think we're hitting 900 today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Yeah. So, and how long have you had that group for?
So I had that group for like roughly almost 2 months.
Cool. Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the fact it's so niche, then, you know, people are going specifically for there. For this one, it's more of just a general business support. So, you know, obviously you've come in today and we've got people that have come on with our copywriters and things like that. But yeah, niching down is awesome. So good luck with that, man. This group's only about 3.5 weeks old or something like that. And we're going to hit 300 by tomorrow, hopefully.
Nice.
So yeah, you know, it's a
Okay.
really engaging community. So, you know, everyone tuning in, really appreciate you listening in. So thank you so much. If you're watching on the replay, just if you're able to type in hashtag Team R, as in letter R for replay, so we know you're listening. And that way, if you have any questions, drop them below and Jason's more than happy to answer them for you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Jason, tell me a bit more about, so you were reaching out when you were first starting off, because, you know, that's a really keen interest point that a lot of people have, where even if they're established in the business, it's always interesting to hear the struggles of others, because we've all been there. You know, we've all struggled to get where we want to be, and you know, that grind as such is something that we all appreciate when we can see others doing and then succeed. So you were reaching out to non-profits and things like that, you were saying? So how did that go about?
Yeah, exactly. So my biggest problem, the reason why I did a lot of free work, I mean, my problems are not something that a lot of other people will have.
Yep.
Only reason I had a problem is because I'm young, and
Okay.
obviously a lot of people think that if you're young, you don't know much, or that you don't have much experience. And
Yeah.
to me, that's not very true. I mean, I
100%.
see
Yeah,
people in
absolutely.
high school all the time make millions.
Yeah.
Um, like for example, so I'm 21 now.
Yep.
And you can imagine years ago how hard that was for me, or it even is hard now, to show proof that I know anything. I mean, I could
Yeah.
show them results, and they'll still be like, "So how long have you been doing this?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Wait, the results are what matter."
Exactly.
I mean, like what I always tell people is, would you care if some 12-year-old came up to you, wanted to work with you, manage your accounts, and that 12-year-old could get you viral overnight? Would you care
Yeah.
that he's 12, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always use that argument, but people still, they would be like, yeah, but I mean, how long have you been doing this? And I'm like, okay, whatever. So that's why I did
Yeah.
lots of free work. So I would
Okay.
reach out to nonprofits. And the thing that you'll find is that a lot of nonprofits struggle with social media.
Yep.
I know in Australia for some nonprofits, it's actually certain forms of marketing are actually illegal for
That's
some
right. Yeah.
nonprofits. So that's the other thing. And so they really struggle with social media. And so for me, that was the easiest way for me to really build my brand, build results, and everything
Yeah.
like that. The other people I reached out to was influencers and also musical groups. Those people also struggle to build their social media because they
Yep.
have so many things going on already. And so I use them for results as well. And so that really helped me a lot when it came to actually charging people.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's the thing. Like, it can get so time consuming just to focus on so many different avenues and streams, especially if you're a big business or a non-profit. I had a friend that worked in the non-profit sector, and just the day to day was just an absolute grind to get where you need to be. So to then add in that next layer of advertising, if they're doing it themselves, it can be quite challenging.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
that's awesome, man. And yeah, I mean, coming back to the whole age thing, like it's something that I completely understand, like why they're saying that, but at the same time, it's ignorant to a degree. You know, it's like if you're getting results and you're showing someone the results, it's like, well, why does age matter? And I mean, especially now, you know, at 21, you know, you're getting established in your business, so the age shouldn't make any difference. I mean, if anything, it's more of a case, and if you want, we can have a bit of a brainstorm later. I just figured while we're on the call now, you know, a bit of a brainstorm.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, you know, the fact you're 21 now, if there's an objection about age, it's like, well, I'm getting results, and also Instagram is a new generational thing. So I've learned more. I've grown up with Instagram. You know, being you, I've grown up with Instagram. You know, so that is now what I do, and so I can assist you in growing something that you don't know much about. Because just say it was back when the like the old what are they even called? The very very old school gaming systems that used to come out, and it's like I couldn't tell you shit about those.
Right.
Whereas, you know, our dads and stuff certainly could. So it's a case of, yeah, putting yourself in a frame where you can just handle those objections. And the fact you already know what your objections are, it's just a case of working through them over time. And I think that is age really your biggest objection?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean that's like the only problem I've had, but as I build my results and really build my brand, like with my groups and such, it's become less and less of a problem.
Yeah.
And so really for anyone who's having that trouble, my biggest advice would be to not focus. Oh, sorry, I froze.
Yeah, all good, man.
My biggest is on your age at all if you are young, but to focus on your result because ultimately that's going to come through, and people are going to stop seeing you for being young. They're going to see you for damn, you know your stuff, you know.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, what other questions do you have?
Well, I think, man, just yeah, just dive into everything about what you're doing because it's really interesting because it's something that like with my Instagram account, for instance, I started doing the whole while I was still working in the full time 9 to 5. I started doing the whole Gary V thing and I was doing heaps of motivational posts, but like posts of I guess of me in them and then shit like that and they were received really well. I managed to grow it up to about 3,000, but it was just so time consuming just to add that extra channel of exposure. So at least with say the Facebook group here, I can focus a few different things, and it's I'm enjoying doing it. Whereas the Instagram for myself, it was a bit of a challenge. So maybe how would you recommend to those that have a few different channels? How would they manage their time a bit better? So would you recommend them focusing all on one particular channel, or a little bit of A, B, and C, or maybe do a month A and then month of B and then go back to A?
Yeah.
What's your recommendation as the pro?
So my biggest recommendation is don't put all your eggs in one basket. One platform isn't good because you could look at all the changes with Facebook and Instagram. With all those changes, and at a moment's notice, if you're only on one platform, it could ruin your business. And
Yep.
so I definitely suggest being on multiple platforms, at least two,
Yep.
and don't handle more social media platforms than you can handle. That's another big thing because you don't wanna be put like half your effort on one platform than half your effort on another one. You want to
Yeah.
be able to go all out. And so if you have to, you can outsource some management work to VAs, you know,
Yep.
because even if you pay for VAs, your return on your investment is still going to come back to you.
Yeah,
So I
100%.
think it's totally worth having extra manpower if you can't handle multiple platforms. But for me personally, I just do three, and that's Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. And
Yeah.
the other thing about that is that people overthink it. You know, they think, you know, they try so hard to run ads to cold traffic to people who've never heard of them, when really the simplest way to think of social media, and this is just how I see it, is
Yeah.
um, you know, build a fan base, get them used to you, let them warm up to you, let them love you, give as much value as possible, and before you know it, you can sell them anything. Now, I don't want to have people think that I think of you know, as followers as just like a selling channel. You know,
Of course.
I don't
Yeah.
want people
Yeah.
to think that.
You're providing value. It's
But what I'm
just you got
saying
to pay
is
rent.
like, in exchange for you really helping people and genuinely being there for them, you know, really giving value,
Yeah.
you should be able to, you know, be like, hey, you know, would you like to buy this thing or this thing? Because they understand, you know, you're spending time helping people, and you need to make a living, and so that's what I mean. And so ultimately, build a fan base and monetize.
Yeah.
That's
That's it.
basically it. People overthink it way too much.
Yeah. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, Alicia. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, man. No, I agree. Like, it's a case of if you're offering value and it's good value that people are actually getting use out of, then you need to be able to afford to pay rent or cover your bills and put a little bit away, because you can't keep doing what you do if you're not able to monetize to a degree. So it's not a case of seeing people as a dollar symbol or anything like that. It's more about just asking for a little bit from some of your fans just to keep doing what you do. And that's really what it comes down to, because I did a post the other day and it was just about back when Pokemon was the big thing, like many years ago. This is probably a little bit before your time. I mean, yeah, I'm only a few years older than you are, but yeah, it was quite a big thing back when I was like a young teen. So it was a case of I would go on eBay, and now if someone bids on an eBay item, you can't see who's bidding. But back then it was just an open source. Like you could see everyone's account, what they were doing, the works. So I would have something I was selling, whether it was like just one of those like real shitty like bill cards, or I'd have like a Charizard or whatever. And everyone that was,
Yeah.
bidding on these particular cards in someone else's account, I'd actually message all of them and say, hey, I see you're bidding on this. I've got one of these and it's currently cheaper at the bids. So then, it's one of those things that I was just pumping and just burning and churning. I was offering value to them because they wanted one, but it was more just seeing them as a dollar sign.
Right.
And, it's not a good way to be. And I mean, it's super spammy as well. Whereas now it's more about, I've come a long way since then. And it's the last thing I want to do. But it was funny back then, one resonated with me. As some mom messaged me and she's like, oh, how do you know my son wants to buy that? Where did you learn the information from? Who are you? I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like, calm down. Like, it's a $2 like card. Like, relax.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So it's just a case of like, Adam says it's the new big thing with Go. Adam, what's Go? Can you, touch base on that a bit more?
Pokemon Go?
Oh, Pokemon Go. Okay. That was
I
massive.
think that's what he means.
Yeah, hey, I'll tell you what, when that came out, that was monstrous. Like, not many people picked up that Nintendo didn't actually own the full rights to Pokemon Go. They only owned a percentage because they helped fund it. But as soon as that came to light, their share price just dropped, because Nintendo's price went through the roof for a very short period of time. And then once it became public that Nintendo doesn't own 100%, they went right back down. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, kind of waffling on a bit there. But yeah, coming back to the whole, it's about, Pokemon Go. Yeah, thanks, Adam. But yeah, it's about offering that value and really just being able to afford to do what you do. And so I was actually chatting with a friend yesterday, and we were talking about it's a case of, sometimes positioning yourself where if you've got that social proof, you charge just that little bit more, but then you can focus more of your attention to them and you can actually help more people at once. Because if you're positioning yourself where you're just trying to get as many clients on board and it's like a dirt cheap price, it's a case of, well, you can't really offer that full value and expertise. Whereas if you only select a handful of clients, then you're going to do a lot better in the long run, because then you're getting paid the same, but then you can focus on each account more attentively.
Right.
Yeah, no,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah. So basically Instagram's a big one. I noticed you just started doing a bit of Snapchat. So do you want to, how about we'll go into Facebook first? Because I noticed that you're doing a bit of Facebook stuff, because I think that everyone on Facebook here will probably really utilize a lot of that information, and then we can jump into a bit of Snapchat as well, if you like.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So I guess Facebook, it's another thing that people overthink. The whole thing with Facebook ads, it's really big, and everybody thinks that they need to be a complete Facebook ads expert. But the thing is, like, the ultimate secret. So people think that they really need to buy all these courses and all that. The ultimate secret to learning a lot of this is to really like join a lot of Facebook groups. So and also build your Facebook friends list. So
Yep.
what I did is I deleted all my friends and family on my Facebook, um, and I instead added a bunch of like entrepreneurs, freelancers, business owners, and so my whole feed and all of the Facebook groups that I'm in, I'm constantly learning things from people. Now I did buy some courses, but what I'm saying is for people who can't afford to buy courses, the best way to learn is to really go into these Facebook groups. Like
Yeah.
my group alone, like I've shown people how to grow on Instagram for free. And
Yeah.
then in exchange, we've had people get up to 20,000 new followers this last month.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Um, and they learned that stuff for free. What I'm saying? Like there's so
Yeah.
many Facebook groups out there that'll teach you this stuff for free. You don't have to buy anything exactly if you can't afford it. But of course, courses are a shortcut to that growth.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so but yeah, really the big things on Facebook for making money are your personal newsfeed, your business page, and then a group. Like for example, my group, it's only been around for not even 2 months, and I've made a couple of G's in the last like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You
Cool.
know, and yeah, so and that's the thing. So then that was all organic as well. And so I mean, what exactly did you want me to cover for
Hey
Facebook?
man, just just really just have a bit of a chat and just see not necessarily anything specific, just your input on the whole thing, and so far it's been some fantastic insight because having it on your personal profile and things like that. Because it's funny you say that because as much as I haven't deleted all my family and friends, as this Facebook group is private, it's kind of been more of an avenue where I could just pump out as much value as I feel necessary without really just having it come up and then like I don't know my mom's friend Judy or whoever's like, oh, I saw your post. I was like, please don't like my post, Judy. This isn't for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the whole reason why I stopped adding friends and family, and I actually got rid of them on my thing too, because I don't want to see my whole newsfeed filled with memes and people falling off ladders and a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoy when my newsfeed is just full of business stuff, so I'm constantly updated with current algorithm changes and anything that's going on with social media
Yeah.
because that's what's helping me make more money. And yeah, but the whole thing about having a newsfeed full of people who are like-minded or are in the same industries, the whole reason why that's super important is because that you can also use that to organically boost your business. You might find new clients, you might find new customers,
Yeah.
all by simply posting relevant content for your industry, giving value to your newsfeed. So you're giving value to your personal newsfeed, you're giving value to groups, you're giving value to business pages, and those are all different streams of income that you can be bringing in.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how that works, right? Because unlike a business page you really have to pay ads to get any kind of reach, and that's what sucks.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Absolutely.
a personal newsfeed in a group already has naturally amazing organic reach.
Yeah.
And so that's the ultimate secret. It's just pumping value and building those lists. How many people you have on your friends list? How many people you have in your group? You can also join big groups and put value in there and build your business that way. So yeah, lots
Yeah.
of
No.
lots of things to do.
Absolutely, man. And I found that I spend a lot of time in groups because, yeah, same sort of thing where it's a collection of like-minded people. And I've found the current Facebook algorithms, if you're spending more time in groups, then right now my newsfeed pretty much just get littered with groups. Like I'll get the odd, I'll still get a few like personal posts from people I've got on my Facebook feed, mostly business related now because I'm networking much more with like-minded people. But for the most part, my
Right.
newsfeed is all just groups, and that's been a fantastic way just to learn more about other people's perspective on business, because it's all about, you know, constantly trying to move forward and learn. And so, yeah, being able to just see different people's views and perspectives on things like today, you know, this is awesome insight, and I really appreciate this, man. And I'm sure all the listeners do as well, because, you know, some really good knowledge there. So it's just a case of trying to figure out what you want to do and how you're going to get there. So one way, if you're going to spend a lot of time on Facebook, well, you know, focus your areas well on Facebook, opposed to, people falling off ladders and all sorts.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one of those things that I used to do that a fair bit. It was a bit of fun though. Like there was one of my really good friends. I got introduced to his friendship group, and we've all become really good friends now as well. But just for a bit of a laugh, I picked one of the guys that, you know, we gelled really well, but he really didn't know me that well. And just for lows, I kept tagging him shit like that. He's like, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, stop tagging me in these things. And yeah, I mean, it's all good. Like last night we all caught up for dinner and that sort of thing. So it's all a bit of a laugh, but I kind of like, well, I can't really do that anymore, because, you know, I'm trying to build this personal brand and this image. And as much as it's great to have a bit of fun, it's like, I'm sure people now don't want me to post stuff of people like slipping over like and things like that. Or this kid gets thrown, there's a snowball, and then he gets thrown at it, and like in the snowball is a juice box, and he's like, oh, my face.
Oh man.
Yeah. So no, it's good fun. But yeah, so I really focused down more on you know, groups, and the fact that Facebook algorithms are set so it will show you more of what you want to see, which is fantastic. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot more business posts and things like that. So yeah, so I mean, when in regards to say like Snapchat, I noticed that's more of a, not necessarily a new thing, but just more of a new thing I've noticed that you're doing. How, you know, what's your insight on Snapchat? Like, how did you get into doing Snapchat? Was it just you wanted to add an extra level? Because you said you're doing 3, you know, levels of social media, or, you know, 3 main anyway. So yeah, how did you get into doing Snapchat?
So Snapchat is definitely a different thing. So originally I used it as just like a personal thing to keep up with friends and see what they're currently doing. Because the vibe with Snapchat is totally different from any other social media. Like people, what you're seeing is literally what people are doing now. It would be as if people were on a live session all day long. That's basically how it feels.
Yeah.
So I originally started with doing it as a personal thing, but as like recently I started testing it out for marketing, because Snapchat has had huge updates because it's trying to compete with Instagram.
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
I'm like, with all these updates, I'm like, okay, maybe Snapchat might be another marketing avenue.
Yeah.
So what I did is I quickly grew an audience of just 100 followers, just 100, right,
Okay.
just to test it out. And then I would do a little bit of value, you know, maybe, but not even anything business related. I'll just be like, you know, talking about my day and saying hi to everybody. What's up, Snapchat? How you guys doing?
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'll drop a link and be like, hey, if you guys want to learn about this, download my cheat sheet, download my this thing, and then join my group. Every time I drop a link, first thing what happens, what I notice is, first off, nearly 100% of my audience sees every single one of my snaps. The
Okay.
other thing is that
Awesome.
anywhere between 70 and 90% click on my link. Notice this is
Yeah.
not my target
That's
audience
fantastic.
at all.
Yeah.
It's just completely random people. And so as I've been testing it, I've been getting crazy results of that, and it's been consistent. Most of
Yeah.
my audience sees my snaps, no matter how big my audience is, and most of them click my links as well. And so now I'm seeing also, if you ever use Snap ads, I don't know if you ever use Snapchat ads.
I've never used them, but yeah, I noticed when they started working. So I'll view them just for the insight of, you know, how they work. And yeah, it's crazy now how, yeah, they're actually changing the way it works. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's so I mean I'm personally still learning Snap ads. That's why I'm not going too heavy on Snapchat value, because I'm still
Yep.
learning that. I've only used it organically and have had amazing results. But in terms of Snap ads, the crazy thing, so I have friends who are like really good at Snap ads, and they've seen, you know, as low as 7 cents per click or lower.
Wow.
7 cents per click.
Man, that's
And
crazy. It's like,
for the targeted audience and
that's a game
everything.
changer.
And so you compare that to Facebook, where, you know, the cheapest you'll see is like 20 cents per click, but realistically you'll get 50 cents or higher
Yeah.
for sometimes. And so that gives you a perspective. Snapchat is really big. And the other rumor is that with Snapchat, Vine is trying to make a comeback through Snapchat. And then all
Okay.
those previous Vine stars, Logan Paul and all them,
Yeah.
they're going to be part of that big launch. And so a lot of big things are happening with Snapchat, which is why I'm trying to jump onto the bandwagon and really build my audience with it. And
Yeah.
the other thing I've seen is, so I watched the campaign. A guy was growing his Facebook, his Snapchat with Facebook ads. He spent $30 and got over 1,000 followers.
Yeah. Wow.
$30, over 1,000 US followers. These are
That's awesome.
targeted too.
Yeah.
So that gives you an idea of how big it is. And so I really recommend everybody else get on it too.
Yeah, no, well, it
Yeah,
sounds like it's just really in its infancy, because the fact that Snapchat's been around for a while now, and now they're starting to experiment with ads and with different things, and I think its development to monetize really is becoming a big thing, and it's really just it's just starting off. It's trying to hit the ground running. It's like, all right, well, now we need to monetize, and it's been trying to do that for the last few years, and I think it's awesome that now it's that's about 1,000 followers for $30 is amazing. Like, that's best ROI ever, especially that they're targeted.
yeah.
So Jason, how did you, when you started this off with the 100 followers, where, for a bit of insight for the listeners there, where did you look for those? Was it just you posted on your Instagram and said, hey, I've got Snapchat? Or was it Facebook, or was it in your group? Or how can you recommend for those to get even their first, 50 followers?
I literally, so I was just testing it. So I literally added anyone that I met. If I go to a party, if I'm over at a friend's house, if I'm over, if I'm hanging out with people and I just met some strangers, I'll be like, hey, add me on Snapchat. I eventually added up 100. Now, notice I didn't do any marketing at all to grow it. And people are so quick to just give out their Snapchat. And on top of that, that wasn't a targeted audience. It was completely random. And again, I got nearly 100% to click on my links and nearly 100% to view my stuff. Like, it's ridiculous. It's
That's awesome. It's really cool. Yeah, no, awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like, it's something that's going really well for you. Like, this information so far has been fantastic. Is there anything else that you want to have a chat about? Like, off of the social medias or anything like that? There anything, interesting on your path that you've come across or anything like that?
I mean, not really. I mean, there's just been like a lot of updates with Facebook and Instagram. Like, for example, Facebook. You should know this for your group, is that comment ladders are not allowed anymore.
Yeah,
You can't,
I did a post the other day.
comment below or share this. It hurts your post now.
Definitely.
There's just a lot of things happening, and it's so scary. But no, other than that, I mean, I do have a free cheat sheet for you guys if you guys want to check it out.
Nice.
It's just my top 10 growth hacks for Facebook and Instagram, and it's a good way to try it out. I've had a couple people who just downloaded my cheat sheet, and they got a couple thousand followers on Instagram after seeing it. And then they saw a lot more engagement on Facebook, and so it's good. It's something to check out,
Yeah, man.
So
we'll put the link in there for sure.
Okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that okay?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, man. At the end of the podcast, then it's recommended to do a shameless plug so you can get all your stuff out.
Oh no.
Yeah, man.
No, I'm sure. I'll just drop my cheat sheet and that's okay. That's good.
Yeah, that's cool. Because Facebook, with all the algorithms that have been changing over time, like doing posts and saying comment below for, and doing the clickbait ladders, or tag a friend that is whatever and things like that. Putting posts in your Facebook as well. In your actual initial post really hurts the organic reach as well. Whereas if you put the post in your first comment, it doesn't hurt it as much. And what you can always do is, if you've created a post and you've gotten a fair bit of value from that, you can then later edit the post and then put the URL link in your initial post at the top.
Do that.
Yeah, and then that's a little way you can kind of sneak around it. And then when you comment, everyone will get notifications saying, hey, so-and-so has commented on this post. And then when they click on it, they'll see that there's now a link, and they'll be like, oh, I don't really remember there being a link before, or maybe I missed it. I'll click on it now. So that's awesome. There are rumors that there are going to be changes in groups as well. So ads within groups may start to happen at some point, which I'm hoping is something that they really carefully look into, because it's not really, I feel that paid ads for groups isn't going to be beneficial. It's only going to be for those lazy that have large followings in their groups. Whereas for those that, for instance, there's a few groups. One group I can think of, the MEC, they've got about 36,000 group members, all
Right.
really engaged and things like that. And Arnie doesn't need to do ads because he monetizes. He uses Facebook in his group, and basically, through that they're able to monetize. So if you're doing ads, I feel it's just going to hurt the brand. It's just a cheap way of getting a quick buck, whereas it's not really going to necessarily help people. Whereas if you're saying, oh, I'm doing a post in regards to how to boost your Instagram, and then, if you need extra assistance, I can actually, help you with my paid services, then that's going to work a lot better than just saying, an ad by, I don't know, X company saying, oh, if you want to grow your Instagram following, click here. So, building up that rapport
Right.
from day one is going to be such a massive thing. And so, yeah, I think ads and groups, I don't know, I'll see it, I'll judge when I see it, but my initial take now with very little information, and I do, really want to focus on that there, I do have very, very little information on it, as it is just kind of rumors at this stage. But I think it's going to kind of just be a lazy way to monetize, and it's going to hurt the brand if somebody's trying to build that personal brand. So anyone out there, if you've got your Facebook group, yeah, just keep that in mind for when it does do that shift.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a really good point. So, actually, in my group, Ron Straight, he works on the Facebook admin team, and so he's on that team that actually tests the different features for Facebook groups, and
Okay. Yep.
then his team is the one that rolls out the updates based on any bugs that they have to fix.
Yep.
And so he was telling me actually, so with the update with ads in groups, you'll
Yep.
also be able to target other groups, so you'll be able to run ads in other groups. So. But you're right. I mean, I think that is a lazy thing. Now, instead of actual valuable content, people will just be running ads to get their audience to see it. But the
Yeah.
other problem that I see is, so Ron mentioned that because we will be able to run ads in groups, groups will have lowered reach. And he actually mentioned that it's already happened. That groups have had lower reach. But
Yep.
when ads roll out to us in the like US or wherever, you know, um, it's gonna lower even more, and that's the problem. That's the problem. It's already happened to Facebook pages, Instagram pages.
Yeah.
For Instagram business pages, they have lowered reach, but you can run ads. For
Yeah.
Facebook business page, they have lowered reach, but you can run ads. But organically, it sucks, and I'm so scared of that happening to groups because
Yeah.
groups are naturally so engaged. It's a community.
It is.
People
Yeah.
see the same people every day. But I think I don't like it. I'm scared of it.
Yeah, I'm the
It's
same.
horrible.
And Ken's just put there, I agree with no ads in groups. Honestly, I don't want to be in a group where people are just filling up posts with ads. And Ken, I completely agree with you there. And that's why, like with this, the niche entrepreneurs community, the Facebook name of this group, I've tried to make it so it's spam free. I mean, once a week, and later today I'll be doing a post saying promote yourself, but we only do that once a week, and it's one singular post. Like this really is a spam, aside from the interviews, obviously, at the end there, that's what these are for, but in addition to giving value, but it really is just a spam free group because no one wants to just see random shit. Like, it's not helpful to anyone.
Yeah.
Like if like, especially this one, when it's such a just a general business advice community, then 9 out of 10 people don't want to see an ad for, I don't know, shit like iron your shirt better with this special spray. Like, who gives a fuck? Like,
Right.
and it's happening. I mean, Facebook, there's a reason they're a multi-billion-dollar business. They know what they need to do. And yeah, it's a very clever thing they're doing. So I absolutely respect what they're trying to achieve. But then from the consumer perspective, from our point of view, it really isn't something that's going to be very beneficial unless you're lazy and you don't want to actually do the work, because that's what it really comes down to. It's how to strip some of your time away so you don't have to worry about it and just pay for someone else to do it. Because I mean, I'm big on leveraging other people's time through paid assistance, whether it's through virtual assistants or whatever. But it's really just I'm scared too. I think it's not going to be a very beneficial thing for the community.
Yeah. I mean, do you have the ability yet? Because I have people in the in Arnie's student group actually. I mean, you're in it too, I believe.
Yeah.
They people in there from Australia, and they have the option already
Oh, to
because
do
it rolled
ads?
out in Australia first.
Okay. I haven't seen them, but then again, it depends on what device you're on as well. Because you know how when you do a post and it's just a little bit of text and you have the choice to put a background in? I've had that on my laptop for months, and yet it was only, I think about 2 weeks ago that they finally rolled it out on my iPhone. So when I do a post, I can then have a red background or a blue background or whatever. So yeah, that's only as recent as about
Okay.
2 weeks ago I got that. So yeah, if they've rolled it out in Australia, it might be on certain devices, on certain updates. I don't think I've updated my Facebook yet. um, so yeah, when it happens, I'll have a look and I'll do a post on it here in this group just to give everyone my insight on what I what I think of it and what I experienced from it. Because yeah, it's something I don't want to do, and I would much rather organically build an audience. And I mean, if you can do ads to promote your group, I think that's going to be a good thing because then you can get your message out to so many more people. But then doing ads to that group, I don't agree with it. I don't think it's a good thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that's the problem though. Like if you want to reach a lot of your audience, you're gonna have to pay every time. At least that's how
Yeah.
I feel it would be. I'm not too sure. Maybe it won't be as bad as we think it is, but if it's anything like a Facebook page,
Oh
oh
man,
no.
that's yeah. Like my Facebook page, I only started that a few weeks ago because it was like, all right, I've had heaps of Facebook business pages, but I thought, all right, I guess it's time, since I'm doing all these things, I might as well make a personal branding page, and I made one, but the organic reach is so shit. I'm just like, man, like I don't even really want to use it. Like it's more just there. What I've been doing is any videos I've been uploading here, they've just kind of been posting them on my branding page. So I was like, all my
Yeah.
groups really where all my focus and attention is anyway. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, comment strong posts
yeah.
are really going to be helpful with boosting that reach. That's still really what it comes down to. Likes aren't very strong, but comments are still the key to getting organic reach.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Jason. Well, yeah. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, mate? Maybe some of your offers or anything like that in the shameless plug session.
Oh no, no. I mean, I don't want to be too spammy or anything because
No, man. Well, that's what it's
I've
for. At the
already
very end,
thank
you've given awesome advice. Like you've actually given some really good knowledge bombs there. So, if now anyone is interested and they want to move forward in getting more of your advice, then yeah, absolutely, man. This last 2 minutes is what it's for. So, if there's anything that you want to offer to the group or anything like that, then yeah, let us know and we can put the links in the group itself, in the comment section of this post. And yeah, if anyone wants to click on it, they're welcome to. And if not, that's cool too.
Sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah. Only thing I'm gonna put down there is just my growth hacks cheat sheet. It just shows that my top 10 growth hacks for Facebook and Instagram. And
Yep.
then in that cheat sheet, it'll have a link to my group, and then it'll also have a link to any further training if you're interested. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean that cheat's very valuable as its own. As I said before, I've had people get amazing results and even give me video testimonials from the cheat sheet alone.
Awesome.
So I think pretty good cheat sheet right there. And so I'm gonna drop that right there. I'm not gonna drop any other links, but
Cool,
yeah.
man. Yeah. No, that's awesome.